Last week, we were informed that Mumia's eyesight has gotten worse. We knew about it. We knew he was suffering with eye disease since April when the French collective went to go visit him and sounded the alarm that they noticed that his vision has markedly decreased. And we wanted to act immediately to get him the surgery, the laser surgery. By then, it was just laser surgery that he needed, a simple cataract laser surgery that would have corrected the secondary cataract disease. That's what it was. Um, but he wanted us to wait because they told him that they were going to have the procedure done in July. Well, we're almost in September, and it seems that the eye disease has gotten worse. There might have been, I think there was a blood vessel that might have burst, and his vision in 2024 was 20 over 30. Now it's 20 over 200, which is legal blindness, which is what I have. I'm legally blind myself. So I know, I mean, I've never had perfect vision, and he was fortunate to have it. And now he doesn't have it simply because of the neglect of the uh, the medical treatment in the prison. It's managed care, obviously, by WellPath. That's who's contracted to dove out medical treatment in the prisons. And this isn't the first time that he's been neglected. This is like this is like the third time, and now they're messing with his eyes, and he cannot see. It can't be anything but purposeful neglect,
Yeah,
as
no doubt.
usual. It can't be anything but you can't look at it, but be suspicious. And don't forget, they monitor his calls. When he calls in, what, about 5 minutes or 10 minutes into the call, they tell you they're monitoring his call. This phone call is being recorded.
Right.
So who's listening to it? If it's being recorded, why they're recording it? So they can listen. So they're listening to his commentaries. They're listening to what he has to say. They're listening to the fact that he wished to wait and he wanted us to stand down and not to intervene in July like we wanted to. Well, it was late June. No, it was April when the French went to visit him, and they said, "What's going on here?" You know, they noticed the difference in his vision, and we wanted to intervene then. But he requested that we stand down and not do anything because they promised. They said we're gonna do the surgery, and now we're in September, and they say they're gonna do it in September, but who knows? They say they're gonna do it, and rightfully September is right around the corner. So, but still, we want to make sure that they do it, and this is why we're at this point. Um, Legally, at this point, Mumia, petitions for relief have been exhausted, but he has lawyers on his case, and if new evidence comes to light, his lawyers can go into court, into the common pleas court, and ask for an appeal. But that doesn't mean that we stop organizing and informing people about his case and what we can do about it. We're not going to give up at this point because the evidence is there that Mumia is innocent. I don't know any other case where it's so evident that this man is innocent. Number one, in my mind, when I first learned about it 20 plus years ago, and I was in college, and I heard about his case and learned about what was going on, and the fact that the police say they never did a paraffin test, which to test his hands, to and the gun to see whether it had been fired. They say they never did that test. Now that doesn't make sense. A cop was shot and murdered, but you don't test the gun. The legal gun that Mumia had. He had a license for the 38. You don't test his hands to see whether he fired a gun. That doesn't add up. They did the test, but likely the test came out negative. I don't believe them that they didn't do the test. And everything that the police say and the DA say that Mumia did he is a lie. The whole case is basically is based on lies from the key witnesses, a known prostitute, and a convicted felon, Robert Chobert. They leaned on them to have them lie against Mumia. His cab was never. He says he was in the vicinity. His Robert Chobert says his cab was parked right behind um, Mumia's brother's car. I forget his brother's name at the moment. But anyway, the point is that the cab driver says he was on the scene. Well, we have pictures. Anyone can go right on the internet and look and see. And there's no cab behind the VW that was driven, that Mumia's brother was driving. And you could see on the VW, the police, Daniel Faulkner's hat is sitting on the driver's side of the VW that his brother was driving. So that means that there was another person on the scene. And that evidence was not admitted into the record. Right now, as it stands, it only shows that Mumia was there, obviously his brother was there, and Daniel Faulkner was there. The record doesn't show that Kenneth Freeman was there on the scene. And Kenneth Freeman is the likely individual who shot and killed the cop. So the whole case, this whole thing is a bogus falsehood. And you have a man sitting in, someone like Mumia, a veteran Black Panther, an award-winning journalist then, and they wanted him. They wanted Mumia. They just lied. Everything that they said that happened is a lie, and the courts in Pennsylvania, unfortunately, are upholding the lie because they have this venom against a Black Panther, a revolutionary Black Panther, an intellectual, someone who's able to mobilize people around his case and other issues. Mumia doesn't talk about what's going on with him legally. He talks about what's going on in the world, what's going on in Gaza. Come on. Like I said, this is another bold attempt to stop Mumia from doing what he's doing, which is working on his PhD. And more than likely, probably working on another book, if I know Mumia. The man is, you know, and I met him. He's a kind, um, gifted, uh, he loves to laugh. He's got he's just a nice guy who unfortunately was trapped in this situation, going trying to help out his brother. And they didn't want his brother. They didn't want Kenneth Freeman. By the way, the cops went and killed Freeman during the melee with the move with the Move family. Uh, so they got a 2-for-1 deal as far as I can see. Um, so that's where we're at. We have not stopped fighting legally to get to free Mumia, and we're on this case in regards to getting him the medical treatment that he needs so desperately for his eyes so he can do what he does. And obviously, he's vulnerable. Anybody without, who doesn't have, eyesight, you're vulnerable to all kinds of things. Not everybody in that prison, I'm sure, likes him. You got the Aryan Nation in there. You got the guards who believe the media and the courts that say that Mumia murdered a cop. So I encourage
Yeah.
people to check out the website freemumia.com. Mumia spelled Mumia, freemumia.com, and you will see on that website uh, more in-depth information about Mumia's condition.